Hello, hello. Welcome back to another episode of Whiskey with E. I'm Eric. Now today we do have a whiskey with the E. We have a Kentucky straight bourbon. We have something special. So without further ado, let me alakazam it here. Alakazam, bam. Alrighties. So we have here the Evan Williams single barrel vintage. So pretty much this is the only single barrel vintage bourbon produced in the world. So by single barrel vintage, I mean there is a vintage date. All right. Sorry, there's no lighting. The light's behind me. My apologies, everyone. So this is the 2004. It says put in oak in 2014. So it comes in at 43.3%. Now at the back here, it says a lot of things, all right? I'll show you what I mean, but I'll have a little read first. The integrity of a single barrel bourbon. This whiskey was personally selected by our master distiller as the purest achievement of the bourbon making art. It embraces all the qualities of a truly great bourbon, bottled unblended to preserve its individuality, vintage dated as a measure of its maturity. So here we go. So see right here, guys, it says barreled on the second month of the 19th day, 2014, barrel number 560, and bottled on 2022. So if you guys can work out how old this is, you can do that just by working out these dates, alrighties? Alrighties, now, I can even read this little book, but I can do that afterwards, guys. So, alright, here we go. So this is going to be an uncorking, first time reaction sort of thing like that. So you know what, here we go, guys. So it comes sealed like this. Now, I'm sure Maker's Mark, there would have been some kind of court issues, right, with the wax, but I think they're more of a dripping wax. Anyways, this reminds me of a Booker's wax, but here we go. So that being said, Booker's wax, you typically just peel it around this way. Oh, I think we are slanting. Alrighty, here we go. Let me, oh, here we go. See, look. You kind of peel it back, and then you just peel it around. Boom. There you go. Alrighty, pause for the cork pop. Oh, alrighty then. Now, alrighties. So the single barrel vintages started off in 1995 was when they first released their single barrel vintages. Alrighties. Now, I haven't even told you what mash bill is. I believe Evan Williams mash bill is 78% corn, 10% rye, 12% malted barley. My apologies if I'm looking all dark. Now, keep in mind, they are owned by Heaven Hill, so maybe the juice is coming out of the Heaven Hill distillery, but it does say back here, distilled in Kentucky, bottled by old Evan Williams distillery. So distilled in Kentucky could mean it was distilled at Heaven Hill distillery, and maybe it was just bottled by old Evan Williams distillery. You know, it's kind of like Jim Beam, and with its umbrella of Booker's, Baker's, Knob Creek, all that. You know, these are all different brands, but you know it all comes from the Jim Beam, you know, family. So that being said, I believe this comes from the Heaven Hill family. Now, Heaven Hill does own such brands like Elijah Craig, Birmingham. I believe they own Larceny as well. So they do own a few things, guys. I mean, keep in mind, they own Evan Williams. Now, Evan Williams is pretty much the second most sold bourbon in the world. Maybe Jim Beam takes that top prize. But you know what? Without further ado, I'm just going to have a little nose and get right into it. Here we go. All right, keep in mind this is a fresh bottle crack, guys. All right, so essentially, straight off the bat, I'm getting this appley note coming in. I know with my last bottle, that appley note goes away after you let it air out and open up for some time. But no, you're getting that vanilla there, the slight caramels. I know this sounds all atypical. I mean, it's a nice nose, but it's nothing that is mind-blowing, all right? Now, it is only at 86.6 proof, which is 43.3%. Now, I did used to drink a Wild Turkey that was 43.4%, give or take. Now they discontinued that and they only have the 81 proof, so I don't know who this was competing against, you know? Like, when you're thinking single barrels, sometimes you think Russell single barrels is cheaper, higher proof. I mean, there's so many expressions out there, but let's just have a taste first and let's just see how it tastes. Alrighties. Oh my goodness, this lighting business is terrible. I might have to change angles and get some better lighting in here, but before I do that, let's have a sip. Cheers, everyone. Oh, oaky. Predominantly, that oak is coming in. Man, this lighting is really annoying the shit out of me. Alrighties, I might have to change the angles. But before I do, it is oaky. It is oaky for what it is. So, I need to have another one. Before we change camera angles, we're going to have another one. It's like the sweet, the caramel vanilla sweetness, then it transitions towards that oaky note. I mean, it's not bitter, it's a nice oak. Maybe like a drying kind of oak. I don't know. You know what? I need to change angles. Or maybe I'm just going to carry this like this. Come on, guys. All right, here we are. Alrighties, sunlight facing this way. Now, my apologies if we're a bit shaky. I guess I am now holding the device. So, here we go. It is like a creme brulee kind of vibe here that I'm getting. It really does nose really pleasant for a 43.3% bourbon. Oh my goodness. No, that's not bad, guys. It's not bad. Let me know in the comments if you have tried the Evan Williams single barrel vintage. Now you got people working on some tools in the background. I'm never going to win in this backyard, eh? But anyways, cheers, everyone. I mean, it's not too sweet. It's just predominantly more oaky, but that finish is a little bit short. I mean, you are getting the flavors there, but keep in mind, I am a proof hound. I'm used to my barrel proof. So that being said, man, it's hard to justify buying this bottle, but let me explain to you, 2 seconds. All right, this angle is gonna have to do. Alrighties, you know what? I'm gonna pour up some more just for you guys. Here we go. Alrighties, here we go. All right. Okay. Now, fun facts. Evan Williams. Now, the name Evan Williams himself. Evan Williams was an interesting man. I don't really know too much about him, but all I know is he is the first distiller in Kentucky in 1783. And that's all I know about Evan Williams. But here we go, guys. Back to the bourbon. You know what? It's kind of custardy. It's kind of creamy. It's that sweet creaminess, that vanilla, that caramel. But the thing that gets your attention here is the oak. The oak is beautiful. All right. All right, that appley note is going away now. So there you go. Keep in mind, nosing something outdoors compared to indoors may be a bit different. That's why I like to do things inside, but technically inside the bar room, it's a little bit too dark. So then I thought, you know what, we'll come outside, but then now I'm like, I can't win. It was getting dark, so here we are. We changed angles. Alrighties, enough of my blabbering. Let's have another sip, and I'll read that little book that's on the hang tag. Alrighties, here we go. I kind of swallowed it wrong then. It was like, well, all I can say is quintessential bourbon notes. All right, now, you guys know that I'm a Wild Turkey fan. All right, now, the mash bill in the Evan Williams is different from the Wild Turkey. So instead of 78% corn we have here, Wild Turkey is 75. Instead of 10% rye, Wild Turkey is 13. Instead of, well, I guess their malted barley content's the same, 12%. Now, when you're having a Wild Turkey, for everyone that's a Wild Turkey fan, you're going to get more of that cinnamon, that spice, that rice spice element. You're not getting too much of a rice spice element here. Ignore the power tools in the back. It's either dogs barking or power tools. You know, I can't really win around in this area. I should go to a park, a nice quiet park, and then, you know what, with my luck, kids will come play at the park. And then all of a sudden you're going to look like a random guy there with a bunch of booze sitting in the park. Oh my goodness, can't win. But anyways, here we go. We are going to... All right, I don't want this to spill. I don't want a fly to get in there, so I'm going to put a little thing over the top. I'm going to read this little tag for you, all right? So here we go. All right, so it comes with a little booklet like so. Smooth tastings, high ratings, Evan Williams single barrel vintage bourbon. First page, here we go. There's bourbon, single barrel bourbon, and Evan Williams single barrel vintage bourbon. That's the first page. Marketing. All right, second page, here we go. Typically, bourbon is a blend of many barrels. Bourbon bottled from a single barrel is categorized as single barrel bourbon. Evan Williams single barrel vintage bourbon, however, is much more because they put the vintage date. It's the only single barrel bourbon bottled with a vintage date to provide proof of age and the subtle year-to-year distinctions found in fine wines. What a difference a date makes. Yes, everyone likes a date. Why does it look like I'm going slow motion now with the camera? Oh my goodness. Man, my apologies if my vocals is not going to line up with my mouth now, because now the phone's doing some funny things. Oh my goodness. What else can go wrong in this production? Whiskey of the year after year, Evan Williams single barrel bourbon. Damn power tools! It continues to receive awards and accolades year after year in recognition of its superior qualities. The following but are a few. All right, so now it's just gonna talk about some of the awards. So, Whiskey of the Year by the Spirit Journal, Domestic Whiskey of the Year by Malt Advocate, Spirit of the Year Bourbon category by Wine and Spirits Buying Guide, Spirit of the Year American Whiskey category by Food and Wine, Top Spirits of the Year Best American Whiskey by Wine and Spirits Buying Guide. This distillery has issued a vintage Evan Williams bottling every year since 1986. Huh? I thought they started in 1995. There you go. I don't know why it says 1986 right here. Oh my goodness. Why is it going slow motion? I do not know what's going on right now. I don't think I can win, right? Really? I cracked another bottle, and I tried to review it. It was too dark in the room. You know what? I decided I'm going to grab another one and attempt to review this. And I think this is becoming a catastrophic event just as bad as the last one. So there you go. But anyways, I think I'm just going to end this video because I am really curious to see if my mouth is even in sync with my vocals. But you know what? Let's get back to this bourbon and I'll give you my final breakdowns, my final thoughts. And again, my apologies if my mouth does not move in sync with my vocals. It's just like watching an Asian Kung Fu movie with English audio. If that's the case. If not, then sweet as. Alrighties, here we go. Yeah, I tried to want to come out here before everyone woke up, but I guess I was too late. You got power tools going. You got the world waking up. Should have done this at 7, but there was no light. I had to wait till now for the light to come out over this angle. There you go. Alrighties, so let's break it down. Is it worth? I mean, I paid $115 for this bottle. I believe you can maybe find it online for maybe $100. So that being said, is it worth it? Oh my goodness. In my personal opinion, maybe it's because I'm a Wild Turkey fan. I would probably rather get a Russell's Reserve single barrel. I mean, I just bought some Kentucky Spirits from Wild Turkey. Now that I even feel is hard for me to even buy because $130 to $170 for a 101 proof product. But you know what? This is 86.6 proof. So this was a lot more harder for me to even pull the trigger on. Now I only pulled the trigger on it because this was the first time I've ever seen an Evan Williams single barrel vintage bottle on the shelves, so I had a little bit of a FOMO moment. So then I got them all, and even though deep inside you're like, man, how good could this be at 43.3%? You know, like maybe I'd rather a Russell single barrel. You know, like there's, you know what? Even a Wild Turkey rare breed costs like roughly $100. So that being said, you're going to get a whole lot more high proof. You're going to probably get a whole lot more for your dollar. But if you want to try something different, and if you are a Evan Williams fan, then, and if you've been buying Evan Williams single barrel vintages since 86 or 95, let me know in the comments if you actually know when the single barrel vintage actually began, because you know what, on this tag right here it says 86. Hold on, let me have a look. See, look, Evan Williams bottling. Hold on, this distillery has issued a vintage Evan Williams bottling every year since 1986. See, I'm not lying here, guys. I'm not lying. It says 86 on the book, but I'm pretty sure when I was Googling this, it said 1995 was the first vintage release. So really, if you guys know, let me know in the comments. That would be much appreciated. But you know what? Like, comment, subscribe. Let me know if you have tried the Evan Williams single barrel vintage. Oh my goodness, this slow motion-y thing. I'm like moving 3 seconds slower than what I'm actually doing in real life. This is why it's putting me off right now. And I really hope that there's no delay in the actual end product of this video. But oh my goodness, you know what? That being said, I'm just going to pour up another one. This device, this technology is just stressing me out. But my apologies to all my subscribers, everyone out there. If this is hurting your eyes, I feel you. I apologize. I am going to get a new device soon. I broke my phone, you see, so I'm just using this spare piece of shit. Let's just say it's a piece of shit, you know? It's one of those $100 phones that you buy from a grocery shop. So really, it's not the bestest of camera qualities, but here we go. Evan Williams, 2014 vintage. You know what? For what it is, it's quintessential bourbon notes, all right? But without that cinnamon, without that spice, that rice spice that you normally find in in Wild Turkey products. Now, you know when I mentioned, you know how I mentioned that Heaven Hill owns Evan Williams? It gets me thinking. Everyone's got their own distillery, right? Or like even when you Google some things, all right. So I Googled up who makes Evan Williams, whiskey. Some Google reports say the juice. I'm going to call the whiskey juice. My apologies if that offends anyone. Now, I researched that. It said that the Evan Williams juice comes from the Heaven Hill distillery. I do not know. So let me know in the comments. Kind of like this. Elijah Craig. Is Elijah Craig juice come from a Heaven Hill distillery? Or is Heaven Hill just the umbrella? Do you get where I'm going with this? I mean, even this here, even the Elijah Craig says distilled and bottled by Elijah Craig. Yeah, I guess. All right. Yep. They're their own distillery, and Heaven Hill is just the one that owns them. There you go. I think I worked it out now. My bad for the confusion. But this one's still confusing. So, is Evan Williams juice distilled at a Evan Williams distillery, and or is it coming out of a Heaven Hill distillery? If that makes sense. Oh my goodness. Do I make sense right now? I'm probably sounding real crazy. All right, guys. Like, comment, subscribe. Let's give this final breakdown. Let's see what I get after I've just talked some dribbles for some time. Now, keep in mind, I have been getting to know this bottle, well, the last bottle anyway. So when I put a drop of water in, it brought out more oak. It brought out some more slight sweetness. But me personally, I already think that 43.3% is pretty low in proof. So that being said, I'm just going to enjoy it how it is for you today. But I will do an extra video on this after the bottle opens up some more, this and that, That's what I mean. Some whiskey tubers out there might actually uncork it privately, and then they're going to get to know the bottle. And then by the time they get to know it, that's when they're going to come review it for you. After the bottle gets to open up, all that jazz. But keep in mind, this is a fresh bottle crack, but I figured that this is in its freshest, purest form. This is how it would have been them wanting us to taste it, So that being said, cheers everyone, drink responsibly. Who has tried Evan Williams single barrel vintage bourbon? Let me know in the comments. Cheers everyone. There is a slight nuttiness in here too, but it's like an almonds or something. I mean, it's not like a Jim Beam peanut shell kind of nuttiness. But the oak, I'm loving the oak. It's not like a Wild Turkey, well-aged, deep, dark, rich oak. but it is an oak. It's like a sweet oak, if that makes sense. Anyways, cheers everyone. I'm like, and I've lost sunlight again, eh? Maybe I'm meant to like shuffle that way a bit. Looks like there's light on this side, but you know what? I'm just gonna end this now and just say much love, or you are all appreciated, and thank you for putting up with this. Like I said, I am no professional. I'm no whiskey tuber. I'm just a man sharing my journey, sharing my experiences. So I'm just happy that if you guys have joined me on the experience, welcome. You know, like I appreciate yous. I appreciate everyone joining me on my experience. So that being said, I wish yous all a good day. Much love to yous all. Like, comment, subscribe to everyone that hasn't, and I will catch yous on the next video. Cheers, everyone. The finish is just too short. It's the proof. I'm a proof hound. But you know what? It is nice. Now, with the other bottle, this is like a subtle disclaimer. I blended the other bottle with some Bundaberg OP rum. Now that brought up the proof. It gave it some extra sweetness. So that being said, everyone here in Australia who has access to a Bundaberg OP rum, and if you are thinking about trying this bottle, try do that blend. There you go. Anyways, I'll catch you all later. See you all.